Hello everyone, Hellion here, and we're back with Hana-Kimi Volume 17. And this is a bit earlier. I mixed up uh in the schedule. Hunter was next in the rotation, but I just thought I was supposed to read this. Anyway, that's fine. It's whatever. No biggie. This volume of Hana-Kimi, Sano's dad shows up as he did in the last page of volume 16. And, well, he hasn't changed. Well, that's the initial impression we got, or at least the initial impression that Sano got, that his dad has not changed since, he was training Sano. But Shin seems to think that his dad has changed. So I'm interested to see, how these two different versions of perception of their perceptions of the dad change it uh changes, or like which one is actually the case. You would think Shin knows more about how the dad has changed, since he's the one who's in more contact with the dad. But maybe Asano has a point. Maybe Asano has a point. um Did they say is the name, or is it just dad? They call him Mr. Sano, which okay, okay, that's helpful. Um, I'll just say dad, okay, or Sano's dad, whatever. Um, he's making the. I do think it's interesting how in one of the author comments, was it yeah, Nakajo was talking about how the story was taking place in like the fall and winter, but that's not really the time that Sano's dad would come all the way from, what was it, Hokkaido, for like a training thingy. What did they say they're doing? Exhibition conference thingy. I forget what were they calling this shit. Networking event. Yeah, the networking. They're talking and shit. Asano was like, let's make this a tournament to hone our skills and shit. And I guess that's going through, or might have the tournament arc. uh, to whatever extent this is a sports anime or sports manga, which it isn't, although a lot more focuses on a athlete now, so I guess we're a bit closer to being a sports series. Um, but yeah, Sano has changed since his dad showed up. He was training a lot harder to show his dad, to show his dad up. But now it's like, okay, you hate your dad because he pushed you too hard, and now you're pushing yourself too hard to spite your dad. Like it feels like you're being a bit short sighted there, Sano. And I hope Mizuki hasn't said anything like that to like help him realize that. Um, but I hope he can. I hope he can see that, because he's it's suggested that he has a fever or something to that effect, and he's going to wear himself out. So hopefully that doesn't happen. And he at the end of the volume he snaps at Mizuki, he snaps at Mizuki of all people. And at that point, fucking Nakatsu comes in, uh, hugs her, and is like, "Hey, choose me." Like, okay, Nakatsu, fucking douchebag. Can't you see Mizuki's and not in a state to, you know, not in a state to want to think about that? She's worried about Sano. And you're Sano's friend. You should be worried about him too. You know? I do. Well, okay, this is weird. In the volume and in this digital volume and in the omnibus, it says chapter 84 end. But this is chapter 97. I don't know what went wrong there. They could even fix that for the 3-in-1. Viz. What are you gonna do? Anyways, Sano's dad does have an interesting effect on everything. Uh, Music did get a chance to talk to him in person. It was only briefly. Obviously, he, acted like a respectful adult. He's not like, you know, um, he's not familiar with Mizuki's relationship to Sano. Just thought she was a regular person, delivering treats to one of the athletes. Um, but he did say that he was remorseful. He did say it's like, embarrassed, but my older son hates me. And he was like blaming him for being a bad father or not being a good father, whatever the difference that makes. And remember this, I used to eat these those snacks, honey lemon slices. I'm not familiar with that as a thing. I guess it's a Japanese thing. I'm not sure if we have those in the United States. I'm not sure. Maybe we do, and I just haven't had them. I've kind of been a picky eater, if you can believe it. But yeah, get some good stuff, and hope it develops more. Nakatsu, I hope gets taken down a peg. I've been rooting for Nakatsu's happiness. I'm not delusional enough to believe that Nakatsu will end up with Mizuki or anything, but I hope he is happy. But this isn't. I know you're trying to get to Mizuki. This is not how you do it, okay? Um, but yeah. See you guys next week. Like, subscribe. See you guys then. Bye.